why are black men being lectured to? Why are black men being belittled in ways that no other voting group?
A tour of media to appeal to men.
They need to appeal to the needs of the voters. And so when I was a delegate for President Obama in both of his elections in Ohio, right now the vice president is down 11 points in Ohio, even though I fully expect President Trump to take Ohio as he did twice, but to be down 11 points compared to President Biden, that is a problem. But this other issue I want to bring up is a problem too. Why are black men being lectured to? Why are black men being belittled in ways that no other voting group? Now, a lot of love for former President Obama, but for him to single out black men is wrong. And some of the black men that I have talked to have their reasons why they want to vote a different way. And even if some of us may not like that, we have to respect it. So unless President Barack Obama is going to go out and lecture every other group of men from other identity groups, my message for Democrats is don't bring it here to black men who, by and large, don't vote much differently from black women. And why, as a politician, we should be trying to get all voters to vote. And hopefully there are a few good men out there who do care about the stripping away of some of women's bodily autonomy. But this is wrong for President Obama. It is a wrong course for the Harris-Walz campaign to lay at the feet of black men when they have their reasons. In 2020, the vice president was labeled a cop, as we know.
But do you think, sorry to interrupt you, Nina, but do you think he's right that one of the reasons is because they don't like the idea of a woman?
It might be some listen, black men are socialized in the same society as any other man. So yes, is misogyny maybe a part of it? But again, is President Obama and is the Harris-Walz campaign going to lecture other male groups in the same way that they're lecturing?
Obama, as a black man, you are a fraud. And I am voting for Donald J. Trump, the convicted felon. You know, we're sick of the crap. We are sick and tired. And I'm sick of this race card. But it's election time, so we got to bring it up. But I want to tell y'all, one love to the human race. I don't care what you look like, where you're from, what your age is, what your skin color is. We don't see color. One love to the human race, and we got to bring common sense back. And I'm sick of these frauds. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. Sick of the failure, sick of the failed policy, sick of the lies, the brainwashing, the bias reporting, the fake news, the enemy of the people, the corruption in Washington. We are sick and tired, Obama. And make sure you tell Big Mike too. Tell Big Mike. But this black man, since y'all want to pull the race card, and I hate saying it, but this black man is voting for Donald J. Trump. And love to my brothers and sisters around the world. I don't care what skin color you are. It's time to bring common sense back. And this is why blacks are skyrocketing with Trump right now. Why it's not what it used to be, Obama. Yeah, you're right. Especially with us black men.
You're thinking about sitting down or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you?
And it's not about a woman. It's if she's qualified. Can she answer my question? She was asked, would you do anything different than Joe Biden? She said no. It's been a failure, this administration. And what y'all do, blame it on Trump. Sick and tired of hearing the same thing. I'm sick and tired of the word salads, the word spaghettis. Can't go off the teleprompter. I'm sick and tired. People are struggling and dying as I'm recording this video. Could care less if she's black or she's Indian. Could care less if she's a man or a woman. Who could care less about identity politics.
Because you think that's a sign of strength. Because that's what being a man is. Putting women down.
Putting women down.
That's not acceptable.
Now, what's going on, beautiful people, my brothers and sisters? Want to just keep it real with y'all, man. I'm still a little about all this, man. But and like I told y'all, we knew it was gonna come. We knew it was gonna come, man. You know, we knew it was gonna come months ago. You know, but I didn't think it was gonna start off like this. We knew they were gonna send Obama and his Superman cape around. As they see now that as they look at the polls and data and seeing that they are very, very far behind, and they see that, especially with blacks and Latinos, Gen Z, everywhere, they are behind. But what did you expect? And the more y'all put her out there, the more you make people want to go vote for Trump. Even the anti-Trumpers, the never-Trumpers, lifelong Democrats, liberals are packing up their bags every single day. She hasn't answered any questions. She admitted she's Joe Biden 2.0. What do you expect? And then now you got a lot of blacks doing their research, and they're like, man, maybe Trump is better for us. And I hate pulling the race card. I hate a race bait and race hustler. Because you know what I believe in? One love to the human race. Simple as that. I got love for everybody. For you, your kids, your family, your friends, the neighbors, the strangers around the world. And we will come together and love one another. I don't want wars. I want common sense back. We the people come last. Millions struggling and dying right now as I'm recording this video. People have died. We need common sense back, man. And I'm sick of the lies. One thing we've seen this election more than ever is the fake news, the bias reporting. You know, it's a disgrace. Project 2025, all these, you know, and then misinformation has become what they don't agree with. But we the people know what's going on. You don't got to tell us it's misinformation. We know what's going on. We know that y'all send billions over here. Billions to Ukraine. Billions to illegals. We know. You don't got to say it's misinformation. We the people know what's going on and how corrupt it is. But I tell you, that deep state nightmare is coming. It is coming. It is coming. Drain the swamp. It's coming. And this should be a landslide. It should be too big to rig. It can't be close. It actually has to be too big to rig. We all know what took place in 2020. We all know. Even the people that didn't want to admit it knew. Like, yeah. And they still cry about it. January 6th. And that's all you're going to hear now. Because they're behind. The polls, she's might be, I'm telling you, one of the worst performing Democrats you might see is going to happen this year. But all I can say is, what did you expect? Especially if things are done fair, free election. If it's done fair, history is going to be made on that map for Trump, y'all. And Obama can come out here crying and whining and throwing the fit all he wants. You know, to us brothers, us black men. But as you can see, go down your timelines. I encourage y'all, go down your timelines. Type it in. Go to your Facebooks, your Instagrams, your Twitter, your TikToks. And look what blacks are saying about this. Look what everybody's just saying about this. People are sick and tired. And they think you can just send him around with his Superman cape. They're in for a rude of awakening, man. Enough of me talking. I couldn't wait to check out this episode from my brother, man. I seen a couple of y'all sent this one over too as well. So I said, let me check it out, man. But I know I'm still about this whole Obama thing, you know.
And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that because part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength.
And it's sick how they flip it and turn it around, and how they really want this to be about identity politics. That is so sad, man. It really is. And I told y'all this is what they're running off of. And joy and identity politics is the only way to possibly move the needle for these Democrats.
Because that's what being a man is, putting women down. That's not acceptable.
Former President Obama blows up on black men for not supporting Kamala Harris. This shows a deep concern within her campaign. And it's not just black men. It's men in general who are not buying what Kamala is selling. So what we're going to do is take a look at what Obama had to say and react to how the media is losing their mind from Kamala's lack of support for men in this election. Let's start here.
And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that because part of it makes me think, I'm speaking to men directly, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is, putting women down. That's not acceptable. That's not, this shouldn't even be a question.
So what does it really say about Kamala's campaign when you need the 44th president to host his own rallies to support your campaign? I think it says a lot about where you are. She's underperforming when it comes to Joe Biden. She's underperforming when it comes to Hillary Clinton. She's underperforming in a lot of the key demographics that normally a Democrat would be beating a Republican on. So this leads me to the second point. Why is former President Obama making it about black men? What is it? Is it going to be black men's fault why she doesn't get elected? Why can't it just be, hey, if she doesn't get elected, it's because a multitude of things. She's a part of an administration who's failed to do their job. She was the border czar. She failed on that. There's chaos in the Middle East. That's on their record as well. People can't barely get by because
same things we talk about on this channel every single day. We've made thousands of videos, as you can see. Same things. Same things. And we over here have waken up a lot of people. And I'm proud of the work we've done, y'all. I am proud of the work that we have done. Thank y'all for all the love and support, the kind donations, people that have wrote me letters, people that have reached out to me with, I'm telling y'all, man, paragraphs after paragraphs that I've gotten to sit down and read. Tons that I've cried to, man, of reading people's story. How many lives we have changed on this channel. I love you guys, man. But for a lot of people, enough is enough, man.
the cost of living has soared. Why can't it be about that? Why are you going out and making it about race? And finally, this is only going to continue to backfire because the credibility when it comes to former President Obama has been burned when it comes to the black community. He sold us a lot of hope, but did not deliver. So for him to come out and tell black men, you need to vote for her because it's unacceptable if you're going to support Trump, that right there is going to sting, but it's not going to sting for black men. It's going to sting for her campaign. And even Nina Turner, who also hates Trump and does not want to see him elected, she talked about this as well. Listen to this.
But this other issue I want to bring up is a problem too. Why are black men being lectured to? Why are black men being belittled in ways that no other voting group? Now, a lot of love for former President Obama, but for him to single out black men is wrong. And some of the black men that I have talked to have their reasons why they want to vote a different way. And even if some of us may not like that, we have to respect it. So unless President Barack Obama is going to go out and lecture every other group of men from other identity groups, my message for Democrats is don't bring it here to black men who, by and large, don't vote much differently from black women.
Okay, so her messaging is dead on about this, okay? What Obama is doing by going out there and speaking that way is only going to reinforce how black men think about the Democratic Party in the first place. You want us to vote based on someone's color of skin. We're not doing that anymore. We're going to vote based on results, okay? And the results show that Kamala Harris is not qualified and should not get a promotion. Now, this leads us to the only real question that actually matters is, why are men not supporting Kamala Harris? Why is that? Now, you're going to get a different answer based on who you ask, right? So what we're going to do first is take a look at the Trump deranged media and hear what their reasoning is on why men don't support Kamala Harris. Check this clip out.
You know, I think men are in crisis, actually, in this country. I think that plays out different ways. And not all men are in crisis, of course. And not all men are just at home listening to Joe Rogan, being angry or being recruited to fascism. Some just need therapy, like we all do. I go to therapy. That's great. But I think we need to have a real conversation about that rather than allowing this kind of drift toward this faux masculinity that we see Donald Trump evincing.
Okay, so let's see if we can understand what she was suggesting, because she didn't make any sense with what she said. I think she's insinuating that men are drifting away from the Democratic Party due to a couple of things: toxic masculinity and fascism. Okay, so what you're implying is the Democratic Party and women in this country bear no responsibility in that. I guess men just woke up one day and they decided to say, you know what, I'm going to start supporting the Republican Party. I'm going to start supporting Trump, right? You guys share no responsibility in that. And you know what's interesting? We can't even have this debate or conversation with people like that because they're unwilling to accept responsibility for their hand in all of this. Now, if that didn't make any sense, listen to what Scott Jennings had to say, because the way he put it, I thought was perfectly.
I mean, this is a political party that thinks gender is just a state of mind, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, we have trouble with moderate biological males. I mean, who is surprised about this? Yeah, I think Democratic Party elites like Obama and like others have been viciously attacking Donald Trump since 2016, and everything they've said about him is what they have always said about him, and I don't think it's particularly effective right now. I think their problem isn't attacking Trump. Their problem is finding reasons to give people to support Kamala Harris. This stop he made and this plea he's making to African-American men. I mean, he said today he insulted them. I mean, he, first of all, admits that they're not enthusiastic about her. He said, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president, and you're coming up with other alternatives and reasons for that. And I think one thing we've seen about Democrats over the years is that when they can't convince you to do something, they begin to insult you. Obama specifically, when he was having trouble with rural voters in Pennsylvania, go back all the way into his campaigns, he insulted them about their culture and values. I don't think it's helpful to insult a group of people who are already not enthusiastic about your campaign, but I think that's what he did today. The story tonight is they're struggling with men, Obama's insulting men, and they're out saying, well, let's fix it by sending Tim Walz out and hiring Mitt Romney. It's crazy to me.
I'm sorry.
And that's exactly the problem that the Democratic Party, they refuse to accept. That's the problem with Kamala Harris. She refuses to accept. They do not want to acknowledge the perception, the belief, and the way that male voters in this country feel. It's not just black men. It's a lot of men, especially men under 50. When you continue to ignore us, you're going to face consequences. That's exactly why the Democratic Party is in trouble. They have ignored the working class. They have ignored union voters. They have ignored men in this country. And now that chicken is coming home to roost. And what's the first thing they do? They cry sexism.
Yep.
They cry racism. They cry misogyny, right? They use all these labels to make excuses instead of saying, maybe we should look in the mirror and really rethink the way that we are approaching this. But I don't think they're anywhere near that type of thinking, because the ad that Kamala Harris and her campaign just dropped shows you how out of touch they are when it comes to men. Take a look at this.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man.
And I'm man enough. I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women. I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it. I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse. I'm man enough to tell you that I cried at Love Actually. Good Will Hunting.
West Side Story.
That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful. That's not how my mama raised me.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
Okay, so before I even address that out of touch political ad from Kamala,
Way out of touch.
do me a favor if you're getting value from this video, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. If you want to support us,
Show my brother some love, man. You just can't make this up, man. You really can't. You really can't.
further, go to the link in the description below, grab yourself a t-shirt like the one that I'm wearing here, or you could buy us a cup of coffee. Now, you tell me, is that political ad out of touch or what? I mean, just the stereotypes they tried to use in that political ad and just the repetition of trying to tell people what a man really is, I just don't think resonates with people today, especially young men. That's not going to do it for them
At all.
Okay. Now, when you really take a step back and you're trying to figure out what is the mindset behind her campaign when it comes to men, I could tell you that a lot of it is rooted in misplaced anger. They get angry, they start to threaten you, and that's exactly what we saw from this professor when he threatened his students for voting for Trump instead of Kamala.
Guys are smarter than girls. You got some serious problems. That's what frustrates me. There are going to be some males in our society that will refuse to vote for a potential female president because they don't think females are smart enough to be president. We could line all those guys up and shoot them. They clearly don't understand the way the world works.
That professor, I need to go find another update because I heard that the university backed him up. He should be terminated. That professor needs to be terminated. Now, I don't know the update. Now, I don't know if they did went ahead and fired him or what happened with that situation. I'm going to do some research on it, but he needs to be terminated, man. And we know about our educational, our school system, our colleges, a complete scam. Complete scam. That's for a different video. We've made videos on it before. We've covered what goes on in these with these professors. We covered all of that, y'all. You know, it has its pros and its cons, and I'm pretty sure you know.
Did I say that? Scratch that from the recording. I don't want the deans hearing that I said that.
Now, the good news is that, of course, he was placed on administrative leave. This is from Kansas, by the way.
Okay, so he was placed on administrative leave. Okay.
Which is interesting. But it just shows you the ideology that's inside.
Yeah, of course. Administrative leave. You just can't make this stuff up, man.
these universities and how they're trying to program young men to forget their basic instinct and just vote for a woman because she's a woman, not because she's qualified, not because she's competent, not because she's actually the best option, because she's not any of those, by the way. Just vote for her because she's a woman. That's insane. And that's why the media is continuing to create these stories out of thin air, and how they're now trying to make it all about they hate women and the way that they treat women is all strategic, etc. But the problem is it's just a huge distraction from the truth. Kamala Harris does not deserve a promotion
at all. And there's not, like I said, there's nothing wrong with having a woman president, you guys. Like we've been saying. And there's candidates out there we actually would love to see as a president, and they are a woman. I mean, sheesh.
But again, the MSDNC folks don't believe that whatsoever. Listen to this.
He did a piece looking at sort of the culture inside the Trump campaign, which translates to what they say and how they act publicly. And as you know, covering politics, the tone is often set from the top. And so that's with former President Trump. And what we found was sort of a striking and deliberate machismo and bro culture that, you know, goes from the language the aides use to describe people. Our lead scene as they're talking about how to handle stories they don't like from reporters, and a top guy on the campaign says, well, we'll just beat them into retardation, which is just not language that is acceptable by just about anyone. And this is also how the statements they release, the names they call President Biden, Vice President Harris, who they choose to highlight.
It's another hit piece to try to distract us from the truth. Now, we saw this before when Harrison Butker, who is a kicker from the Kansas City Chiefs, gave a commencement speech at a university, and he caught a lot of heat for speaking on traditional conservative values. And one of the biggest principles in conservatism is abortion. Clearly, that is a sticking point when it comes to Republicans, and it's also what we don't like about the Democratic Party. And it's why there is a lot of men out there who refuse to support Kamala Harris, especially Christian men. And that's why you heard what Harrison Butker had to say when he was on Fox News, clarifying who he is supporting in this election.
Now, Harrison, are you're supporting Hawley? Does this mean you're supporting Donald Trump?
Well, I'm supporting the president that's going to be the most pro-life president. I think Donald Trump, crucial topic for me. I want us to be fighting for the most vulnerable, fighting for the unborn, and that's what we should prioritize. And that's obviously what Senator Hawley is doing as a man of faith.
I mean, is there any equivocation about supporting Trump? I mean, if were it not for Trump, Roe versus Wade would have not been overturned, obviously.
Right. I think you have to vote for whoever's going to be the most pro-life, and we have to be prayerful men that put God first, and I think that's what's going to be best for our country.
Yeah, so I think he's a great example of men out there who actually probably don't really like a lot of things when it comes to Trump, but they understand that he represents what they also believe in, which is pro-life. And they know that if they were to vote Kamala Harris, you could just say goodbye to that. But if we're really just trying to answer the question, why is Kamala Harris lacking so much support from men in this election? It's very simple. Number one, the economy. One of the sole purposes of a man in America is to do what? Is to earn enough money to provide for his family. Well, how do you do that if she broke the economy? The second thing is for a man to protect his family. How can he do that if she opened the border and she's allowing criminals and rapists and traffickers to come across the border unchecked? 3 is family values. They had an abortion clinic right outside the DNC. I mean, they are not the party of being pro-family. We know that. And finally, when you make everything about women in this world and telling people that they need to vote for Kamala Harris because she's a woman, that automatically disqualifies her from the conversation. It should not be about the fact that she's a woman. It should be about merit. It should be about competency. It should be about her record and her leadership. And in all of those things, she, in my opinion, is not qualified to be the next president. So that's my opinion What do you guys think about this story of Obama blowing up on black men and trying to pretty much blame them if she was to lose the election, which is crazy? And what do you think about the Trump deranged media making excuses for why she's not getting a lot of support from men in this election, calling it sexism, misogynistic, and all these other terms, and trying to create these crazy stories about the Trump campaign? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section below.
She can't make it up, man. You know, like I say, is she qualified? She isn't qualified. DEI didn't earn it. She doesn't need a promotion. It's not about if she's black, Indian, white, Filipino, Latino. I don't care. If she's a man or woman, it does not matter. Are you qualified? Are you a leader? Can you get the job done? And from what it looks like, they should have just left Joe on the ticket. They should have left Biden on the ticket, because Biden's better than her. She's way worse than Biden, sadly. And I hate that I have to say that, but like, you got to be real with people, man. You got to be real. And that's one thing that we people are missing. We have so much hatred in us, we can't be real with ourselves. And they call that feelings and emotions over facts. And it has to be facts over emotions. Trump might have hurt your feelings. You might not like the way he responds or how he goes about things or how he tweets. But then come to find out, you see the way they did him. You see the news that they put out. You see the bias reporting. You see the fake news that they put out about him. And why he snaps in the response the way he do. And I'm pretty sure they did that. What they did to him, what they did to you, you probably be the same way. Let's be honest here. I love y'all, man. We keeping it real. You just can't make this up. But I love you guys, man. One love to the human race. Check on your loved ones, man. Call them, text them, give them a hug for me. We live in a very, very fast time travel that most don't even realize, man. Most don't even realize. But we are in a fight to get our country back, and this is why we produce multiple videos a day. We keep it real. I can't wait to get back into, music and sports and all kind of other things once this cools down and we get past the election in the next 20 some days. So I hope y'all are ready, man. We're having fun every single day, keeping it real with one another, man. Huge shout out to my brother Dawkins, man, for this amazing video. And link will be in the description box down below. But it's a great conversation, man. And we gotta have it. We must have it. It's a must. They're going to send Obama out on with his Superman cape right now because they see the data of the polls. They are down. They are struggling. What did you expect? And y'all keep sending her out there. And you're making it worse for yourself. I would have just kept her hidden. Y'all were better off at just hiding. You'd probably be way more up in the polls if you just kept her out there and hide. Even though you found out that was most really is not working. Her not coming out. But it's her coming out is making it even worse. And that's why they're begging for that last debate. But you're the one that wanted the chicken out and decline the Fox News debate. You didn't want to go on Fox News. Trump went on CNN. He went to the ABC. He went over there and did what he was supposed to do. JD Vance did the CBS. They did all these interviews, no matter how they got treated, no matter how nasty they were with them. He went to the black journalists, no matter how nasty they were with how they treated them. Called them a racist, but he still set the record straight. He still showed up. The difference is clear in this leadership, man. The difference is completely clear. And time after again, he proved exactly who he is. And how and just embarrasses the fake news, the media, all these wokies. He's a racist. He's a dictator on day one. Project 2025. And look how all this is backfired. And this is why you see more men, more blacks, more Hispanics, more Gen Z are for the former president. It should be a landslide, man. Too big to rig, y'all. Keeping it real, one day at a time. I love y'all. I'll catch you on the next one, man. Peace and love, y'all.